So I was really excited to go shoot the intro for this video, and it is raining like crazy, and the footage that I wanted to get is outside. So we're gonna go anyway and try to make it work.
Perfect.
I don't know how any of that footage came out. Hopefully some of it's usable, but this deck pretty much got ruined in the rain, and I'm sure some of my equipment did too. So hopefully it was worth it. I guess we'll see. What's up, everybody? Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. Today is going to be one hell of an episode, and the reason today is going to be one hell of an episode is because we got the new deck in, everybody. This is the new Svngali V3 playing cards, the Off the Wall deck by Svngali. You guys should probably know this about me if you don't, but Svngali is definitely my favorite offshoot of any Alex Pandrea playing cards ever. The V1 I thought was a complete masterpiece. They leveled up even more with the V2 thanks to Ito Wang and his crazy designs for those two, and then even crazier, probably the best Ito Wang design and definitely my favorite Alex Pandrea deck already, the Off the Wall or Svngali V3 deck. I am so amped and so hyped about this deck. I could not wait to review it for you guys. You might even be able to tell because of the extra effort I put in for the B-roll before this video, but now it's been said, so now you know. I really cannot wait to crack this open and review the deck, so let's just get into it. Like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and without further ado, intro.
Go.
All right, so real quick history, just for good measure. The Svngali brand was created by Alex Pandrea a little bit less than a year ago, maybe like 6 months ago. Alex Pandrea teamed up with Ito Wang, which is definitely one of the more talented sleight of hand card magicians out there. And they got together and produced this brand with some very, very wacky designs that otherwise probably wouldn't have fit into Alex Pandrea's repertoire. And I'm sure glad that it happened because out of it, we got so far two of the most amazing decks that I could say I have in my collection. And now for the third. The tuck box is done in a glossy cardstock as opposed to the last two, which were done in matte. This one is done in regular glossy cardstock. It's hard to see from the front, but it is mostly yellow. The front of the deck features a kind of full bleed version of the back design of the cards, which kind of just looks like a lot of cool, very LA, Venice graffiti that you would see like on the beach or just on a brick wall somewhere. And that pretty much takes up the entire front of the deck. One side of the deck says Concept by Alex Pandrea and designed by Ito Wang. The other side not only has a continuation of the graffiti on the front, but it also has the Svngali typeface logo. The bottom has the Svngali website where you can pick up this deck. And while you're at it, pick me up like 10 or 20 of them because I'm gonna need them. The back design shows a preview of the back design of the cards as well as the title, which is Off the Wall. And the top has that 03. So like on the V2, you can see it says 02. That's what this deck looked like. And then the V3 says 03. I really like that because if you have them like displayed on your shelf or if you have them like with the top facing out, you can see that 1, 2, 3. And I think it just looks really clean, very cool. Nothing on the inside of the tuck box, and I can't wait to look at the cards. Holy. Okay, you guys, I know you've already seen the pictures, and I know that you've probably already seen these cards yourselves, but I have to tell you before I show you this design, this is easily one of the best designs I've seen. Here we go. Your back design looks like this. It's got a nice thin white border, and then it's got that graffiti that you saw on the front of the tuck box, kind of just dominating the back of this card back with these bright and super vibrant colors. There's like this like dark green blue color in there. There's yellows, reds, there's some brown, orange. all kinds of different shapes and textures. There's even some border breaks in there, which look really cool. This is like a mixture of modern style graffiti and kind of vintage style comic book, which I seriously, guys, I love it. You can also see on the back that it has an S and a V, and there might even be some other letters from Svngali in there, but I can't see them if there are. I don't typically freak out like this over designs, guys, and I'm definitely not being paid. I bought these decks. This is not a sponsored video. I just love this deck. I love the design. Okay, your Ace of Spades looks like this, very beautifully designed. You can see it features kind of previews of the back design with that old English S, kind of hidden behind this enlarged spade pip that's very messy, very kind of graffiti stenciled with some paint drips on it. It says 003. It's got those yellow polka dots, kind of that red like saltwater taffy texture up at the top, and it says off the wall at the bottom. You'll also notice that it has bicycle standard indices, which is great for me because I love bicycle standard indices. So that is a dope Ace of Spades, absolute win. Pretty sweet jokers too. You get one with a greenish blue J on it. This is the same color as the back of the Fontaine Good Company deck, and for those of you that know, you know. Obviously, I don't know what color that is. And then the other one has a yellow J on it, which looks really dope. You can also see some paint splashes and drips and kind of stencil work on there, and it says Svngali Co. on both of them. So far, you guys, I am loving this review. I'm loving this design. This deck is absolutely phenomenal. It's stunning. You are also going to get a blank card, which you can use for poker dealing. You can use it for tons of magic effects. You can use it as a card eraser, blank fan, all that stuff. And you get the beloved double backer, which, as most of you know by now, is definitely my favorite gaff card. I've made a video on 3 different ways that you can use this gaff card. I will make sure that that is linked somewhere at the end of this video. All right, now the faces of this deck are also completely custom and very interesting, so we definitely have a lot to get through. Let's talk about it. Firstly, your other 3 aces, aside from the Ace of Spades, are also custom. The Ace of Clubs features a bunch of paint splashes and stencil work behind it. It looks like some drips. You'll also notice that ever so slightly orange hue kind of coming out behind that club pip, which is a really nice touch for contrast. Your Ace of Hearts has some yellow polka dots, kind of like a grid in there, and then it's also got this kind of like giant red polka dot streak that just pierces right through the heart. Looks really, really good. And the Ace of Diamonds has an Old English AP for Alex Pandrea and EH for Ito Wang, as well as some paint drips and stencil work. Really, really, really nice. I love it so much. You'll also notice slight customization on a lot of the faces. Some of them are bicycle standard, some of them just include paint drips, like the 10 of Spades. Some of them have sayings on them, like being crazy isn't enough. Or it could say, being enough isn't crazy. Just depends on how you look at it. In some of the cards, there is like more stenciling and paint drips. The 7 of Hearts has a barbed wire wrap around the odd pip. The 5 of Spades has a sword piercing through it. Just overall little touches and customs to make each deck really stand out. I even love the Svngali print on this 2 of Spades. It just looks so good. Your court cards are also custom. They're formatted as bicycle standard, but with a lot of color customizing, again with like some paint splashes. And certain court cards have added features like the 3 of Hearts reveal on the Queen of Spades, the sensory on the Jack of Clubs, the lipstick print on the cheek of the Jack of Diamonds, and even a 7 of Hearts reveal on the King of Diamonds. Those are all super nice touches. In general, I mean, like the deck is fully custom, but really it's not so custom that you couldn't use it for Magic. And I think that there's a genius there to really overly customize your court cards like this and somehow still make it as good for Magic or maybe even better because of some of the reveals and some of the little magical elements that are happening in that design. I think it looks really, really good. All right, now that is pretty much it for how this deck looks, although I could talk about it all day. So let's switch angles and talk about how it handles. Okay, so handling wise, these are gonna feel very similar to the V1 and V2 of the Svngali series. These cards are printed on crushed bicycle stock, so they are extremely thin. They feel really good. They don't feel as thin as like the Ultras, which I just reviewed, but they are definitely thin. They're definitely soft. They feel literally the exact same as the other 2 Svngali decks, which in my opinion are basically perfect feeling. So yeah, nice and thin card stock. These are printed by the United States Playing Card Company. As you can see, the cards spring very easily, not really having any problems. Here's that new dribble sound. You can definitely hear the softness. This is definitely a deck that I would say could be easily used for cardistry or Magic, which I really like. So I know we already talked about the design, but this one-way back design kind of makes it suitable for certain Magic effects, but also all three of these Svngali decks so far have featured a one-way back design, and I really like it. I mean, it's a trend that is definitely popular. If you fan the cards one way, you get this nice yellow ribbon with some red and then some of that blue coming out, which looks nice, but what looks really good is if you fan the cards this way, and you get that blue and red. I think that looks very, very nice. If you fan the cards for the indices, it is going to look completely bicycle standard, which I also think is a nice touch in terms of the application for Magic. Snappiness check. So definitely thin, which means not very snappy. You can hear the cards do have some structure, which is really nice. I mean, I don't really mind if the cards are snappy or super soft. I think it's more of a cardistry preference than a Magic preference, but just the overall feeling in the hands, these cards feel really good. So these are gonna feel, if you don't have any Svngali decks, these are gonna feel very similar to like the purple Gemini Casinos. They're also gonna feel like the Superfly Dazzle deck. Looks like the cards fare best from top to bottom. And you know what? I gotta see what a giant fan looks like with these. Let's see. I don't usually do giant fans, so I'm hoping that this one comes out good. Yeah, all right, look at that, it looks gorgeous. I'm not the best giant fan of my career, but I think you get the point that looks really good. Let's see what they look like when you do a giant fan the other way. Oh, even better. Look at how crazy that is. I get why they called it off the wall. That is absolutely off the wall. That looks so good though. Nice. Ooh, listen to that. Let's do another one of those. Listen to this. Ooh. So definitely cardistry wise, I think there's a clear application and attraction. But as well, I definitely think this is a deck that can be used for Magic without having any problems. It is fairly custom. It's very off the wall, but I think in general, wouldn't have any problems. Here's what the cards look like under pressure. And if you do it the other way. Very nice. And yeah, I think you guys can pretty much get the idea of the rest of it from the B-roll that went before this review. So there you go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode and my review of the new off-the-wall Svngali deck by Alex Pandrea and Ito Wang. My closing thoughts on this deck are I will forever regret it if I don't go and buy more right now. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Now, I love reviewing decks of cards, and there's tons of decks out there that I absolutely love, but this one I have to say something about the cartoony aesthetic or the graffiti. It's not a deck that I'm gonna use every day, but it's a deck that I'm always gonna reference when I'm thinking about what a quality, unique design should look like. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for us here today. I apologize for all the over-the-top opinion about this deck, but seriously, it was worth it. I hope you liked it. Which reminds me, please do drop a like on this video if you liked it, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for more awesome videos, reviews, vlogs, tutorials, and all kinds of magical stuff just like this. With all that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.